There's a lot of self-help advice out there. Some of it good, some of it bad. But all of it is a bit overwhelming. This is why I found it extremely beneficial to focus on systems. I think of mindsets as a very strong system that drives the rest of our life. Everything in the world was born from a thought. All the good and all the bad. With this in mind, it's incredibly important that we take control of the narratives rolling around in our brains. Number 1, not giving up at any cost. If you're human, then you probably have intentions. For example, the intention of eating healthy, of being a good friend, exercising, keeping a clean house, or building financial stability. Whatever your intention is, I find applying this mindset to be incredibly helpful. I think there's a big difference between people that give up and those that don't. I think there's a big difference between people that live their life from the start to the finish with fortitude and perseverance. When the going gets tough, they keep going. They never throw in the towel. They never reach some sort of destination where they call it quits. But they continue to explore the depths of their abilities, and they continue to reach new goals and new highs. Be the person that is always in pursuit of greatness, something that you'll never quite reach, but you will always find solace in the journey. Think about it. There's not a little angel that comes down from the sky and grants you a good person or a successful person. But in fact, I find that most good people are always trying to be better. And I have simultaneously found a lot of people who have hurt me in one way or another have self-identified themselves as a good person. And it was that label that got in their way of truly thinking clearly about themselves. If being a good person is a journey and not a destination, then when somebody finds fault in something that you have done, you are able to look at yourself and clearly say, maybe this is a chance for me to become an even better person. But if you identify with the solid idea that you have already achieved being a good person, and somebody is hurt by something that you've done, then you might perceive them to be jabbing at your identity. And somehow it's their fault because of course you're a good person and you've already reached that goal. So there's no room for growth. Insert any goal into this example. I'm talking about a growth mindset versus a fixed. People with a growth mindset grow. They're strongly identified with the growth, and this allows them the flexibility to clearly look at themselves and face setbacks and face challenges. With a growth mindset, a setback is a chance to grow. With a fixed mindset, a setback is an obstacle. This is why I think it's really important to apply the mindset of never giving up in whatever way that resonates with you. What if you just never gave up, but you spent the rest of your life in pursuit of greatness? No towel to throw in, no end of the race. What if you identified as somebody that was always resting in impermanence and used everything life threw at you as a chance to grow? What if there was no such thing as an obstacle or a setback, but only growth, and you never gave up? What if you grew and evolved for the rest of your life without giving up? Number 2, I am already David. I created a version of David in my mind and simply carved away everything that was not David. Michelangelo. This quote reflects Michelangelo looking at a block of marble and envisioning David within it. Michelangelo worked at carving this marble for 2 years before David was finally in his finished form. So, from one perspective, Michelangelo knew that David had always lived within this marble. And all Michelangelo had to do was expose David within. I think if we look at ourselves in the same way, it makes the future feel a lot less overwhelming. It makes our goals feel more attainable. You are currently a block of marble in so many areas of your life. And being a block of marble isn't such a bad thing. However, David still lives within that marble. And here's the catch. You are already David. This means you are already completely at peace. You are already financially fulfilled. You already have your dream body, your dream athleticism, your dream romantic partner, your dream house, your dream job, your dream life. It already lives within you. And all you have to do is carve away everything that is not that life. You don't have to climb a mountain. The marble is already there, and so are the tools to sculpt it. All you've got to do is wake up every day and chip away at that marble. Some days, probably more than others, but you've got to promise to yourself, you're really gonna put in that work. You are going to relentlessly chip away at that marble. And little by little, you will start to see David. You will start to see that dream life. And you're not going to stop until you have that polished statue that is exactly what you envisioned. Number 3, I am completely and utterly responsible for every aspect of my life without any excuses. If you are an adult, this is true. I have found within myself that there used to be somewhat of an unconscious belief that my shortcomings were someone else's fault. It was quite easy to believe it was my parents' fault for the exceptionally crappy parenting. It's quite easy to push it off on old traumas. It's quite easy to point the finger at someone else. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place, perhaps in a therapy session, for doing that work and looking at the person who wronged you and healing from that. But there's also a time and a place for owning up to your own life and becoming 100% responsible for every single one of your actions. I used to think to myself, if only I had had better opportunities growing up, if only my parents had known better or just fucked up a bit less. You might be surprised if you dig within your subconscious how many of your bad habits you might be blaming on external circumstances. Something that I learned the importance of is having an internal locus of control versus an external locus of control. What this means is, if you're getting crappy sleep, for example, do you blame it on the sounds outside or an uncomfortable mattress? Or do you buy a white noise machine, an eye mask, listen to a sleep tape, and save up for a nicer mattress? How often do you find yourself blaming the external world for your negative internal state versus how often do you personally take control of external circumstances? Having an internal locus of control leads to a higher quality of life. It's much more comfortable to feel like you are in control of your own life. It's very hard to be happy if you're looking at the external to grant you that happiness. because we live in a wild and chaotic world. It has always been that way. From the dawn of civilization, we evolved under the same sun as all of the wild and the chaos. We're equipped to handle it.